Welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob, and today we are gonna be continuing the narration and character voice acting for the main story of Arknights, Episode 15, Dissociative Recombination. Alright then everybody, time to continue this wacky journey here with part 2 into this chapter, and oh boy, is it gonna get wackier. But more on that in a bit. Before that, as always, to anybody who bumps into the voiceover through this very episode, you can find the full playlist for the main story of Arknights and other playlists in the description of this very video, so enjoy. And when it comes to the other playlists that are in there, they're mostly there because a lot of those stories, or rather characters from those stories, have either appeared so far in the main story or have been mentioned in this very chapter so far, so if you want to catch up with some of the older stories and haven't had the opportunity yet to do so, the playlists are there, so enjoy and thank you very much regardless. But yeah, anyway, also before we continue, in the previous episode I did forget to mention one thing, at least verbally. I did mention it in the pinned comment by me in the comment section last time, but I forgot to verbally do something at the end of the previous part. And that was to ask you guys to play a little game with me, or a little game that I was kind of setting up after the fact, but probably why I also forgot about it. But anyway, in the previous episode, when the little array distorter guy appears on screen for the first time, he appears to be humming a melody, at least of some sorts. Well, technically speaking, you guys will learn more today why it sounded like a melody, but he does kind of hum something. Apparently there's something melodic going on there, so I was being a bit cheeky with that part and I put in an Easter egg. And trust me when I say it took a bit to set up the Easter egg because of the voice modulator that I was using for the voice of Ray Distorter did pretty much, if I just hummed anything into the mic, it would turn into gurgle. So I had to figure out how to do it, and the only way I was able to do it is with do sounds. Those went through properly, well, somehow. But I wanted to ask after the cutscene everybody to do a little game with me and to guess the melody. So I'm gonna correct myself in this episode, because on the previous part I only saw literally one person try and guess the melody, and apparently it sounded familiar, so I am happy to hear that, because it should sound familiar to anybody who plays this game. But I will play you guys the clip right now from the previous episode where Ray Distorter hums a melody that should be recognizable, and let's play a game with it. So, listen to the melody, try and guess what song it is, and put the answer right now after you listen to the humming in the description of in the comment section of this very video. And by the end of this episode I will reveal what the song is with a clip from the actual song, so you will know what it is. But until then, leave the answer down below from right now and update it later if you guessed correctly. Or not. We'll see. But yeah, here's the clip, and try and guess. Alright, good luck guessing. Look, I know it sounds very robotic, but that is mostly on the part of the voice distorter there. But anyway, good luck guessing, and I will see you in the outro, and I will reveal what the song is. But anyway, we're gonna do the quick little recap of the previous part right now very quickly, and then we proceed into our part for today. So for those of you who wanna skip ahead, the timestamp is in the pinned comment down below by me. So then, last time we started the chapter with a quick blurb from Priestess, followed by being back in the final moments of the war in Victoria. On the battlefield next to the wreck of the Gloriana, we see a young, heavily infected Cotus helping out soldiers. Later, she would go to Londinium to help out more people, until she would meet her final moments because of her oropathy. But someone seemed to have had other plans for her, as someone reached a handout to her in her final moments. Meanwhile, Rhodes Island squad, led by Amia and the Doctor, is on approach to their final confrontation with Theresis. Theresis, meanwhile, can be seen in the assimilated universe approaching the crumbling tower that Theresa built. He ascends the tower where an eye is watching him, and he gets attacked by a recreation of Ascalon from his own memories of her. Theresis wins the battle and the tower crumbles. As he falls into the sea of data, he does one more thing in there to rip the control of Originium from its current holder and acquire Amnanam. Meanwhile, under the Palace of Vestalag, in the old throne room, our Rhodes Island squad has engaged in combat with Manfred. Just as a final blow is about to hit Manfred, Theresis appears and stops everyone. He is now covered on one side of his body almost completely by crystal, and even some of his organs have already turned. After a tough battle with him, Ascalon manages to pierce his heart and pin him to the throne behind him. The Doctor picks up Amnanam, but it doesn't react to them, but it does react to Ascalon. Everyone else then leaves, leaving the Doctor and Monster to talk to Theresis for a bit longer. Before the Doctor then also leaves, Theresis gives them the old stone blade from Ascalon. Theresis is then left to die on the throne, while an unknown voice delivers Theresa's final words addressed to him. After that, we swap to the Katos girl from the beginning, who finds herself now in an unknown futuristic environment. She seems to be on a spaceship, and there she meets a sentient drone lifeform that introduces itself as Ray Distorter. The ship itself is in orbit of a dying planet, and the girl introduces herself as Hierda. Jumping back then to Rhodes Island, and 3 years after Londinium, every operator on board seems to be heading out to some mission or going to a branch office for the time being. While the majority of personnel will be gone, Rhodes Island, it seems, is going to be going through some remodeling, and something seems to be brewing on top of that as well. In the end then, we see a scene in the medbay between Warfarin and a patient from Londinium. The patient, Chloe, seems to be suffering from a mutated form of oropathy that is not killing the host outright, it seems. And that is pretty much where we left off last time, so let's head into our section for today. And of course today we are going to be continuing from stage number 3 and moving all the way to the end of stage number 7. There is quite a lot of jumps, and most of these stages have just one cutscene on top of them, mostly stages 4, 5 and 6, but we're going to be covering some ground today. But before we do so, on stage 3, considering we only had one cutscene there, we do have new enemies to introduce. So the 2 new enemies here, and this is part of the wackiness of this whole chapter, we have the confused maintenance helper, and it says, maintenance helper whose pathfinding module has been disrupted by Originium. The meal delivery function added by the engineering department no longer works. In quotes, you want a repair function? Look, we've already got plenty of engineers. As for Warfarin's food safety warning, we're working on it. Alright then. The other one is the cold drink machine, and it says, cold drink machine that has had its trajectory computing module disrupted by Originium. It uncontrollably launches frozen beverage cans at operators who aren't even thirsty at all. Prize winner of the engineering department's 10th Ig Nobel Prize Award. By the way, Ig Nobel? Really? No one can refuse a thoughtful fridge that automatically launches refreshing drinks at you while you work, after all. Just don't think too much about what the medics would say at your next checkup. Don't tell the medics. Anyway, we continue on to stage number 4, and before we head in, we do have one new enemy here, so we don't have to do this later, which is the very free cargo helper that has a tiny little happy face on it, and it says, it will brave the chaos and deliver the goods safely to their destination, even when all hell is breaking loose on Rhodes Island. Whether the goods themselves are dangerous is none of its concern. With that face, it definitely does not care that it explodes. But anyway, stage number 4 is titled Brink of the Abyss. How do you measure the depth of an abyss? The answer and your own life hang upon the same thread. This stage has only an after scene, so let's go. Oh, and also before I forget, I'm editing this in post very quickly, but there is gonna be a change in today's episode. There is a character in today's episode that will have a different voice attached to them for obvious reasons, but when the voice change happens, Let's put it this way, you should be able to immediately tell that is a different voice. But yeah, there will be a character later on in the episode who we technically already had in the previous episode, but I am going from this episode forward changing the voice for them, so don't be surprised if suddenly you get bombarded by something completely different. But anyway, let's continue. Closure. I have the right to refuse the data module inspections and upgrades you're proposing. I will not be treated like Thermex and Lancet 2. You know very well that I am different from my colleagues.
Relax, I'm not trying to trick you into a module upgrade this time.
Then please restore the power supply to mobility module. Restricting our respected scholar's personal freedom is really unbecoming behavior. Take a look at the expression doodle on my faceplate. It indicates how I feel. Angry.
This won't take too much time. Justice Knight is already lined up waiting at the entrance. Mr. Friston, I guarantee this maintenance will be quick. Alright, there we are.
You've blocked me from accessing PRTS data.
Blocked you? No, I just disconnected you from PRTS. To be more precise, I physically removed your perception module. It looks like that went well enough. I thought there would be some irreparable failures.
You just did that without any sort of planning.
Well, how do you feel now, Mr. Friston?
I recorded the entire experiment. You violated protocol, and I'll be discussing your negligence with tsit shortly. Not to mention your reckless disregard for my life. She'll hear about that too.
Mr. Friston, please do one more self-check, and to be certain you're not getting any transmissions from PRTS.
You should just be thankful nothing went wrong. I checked, and I indeed cannot connect to PRTS any longer. Ugh, it's like I have blurred vision. It's a very subtle feeling, and I don't like it one bit.
Perfect! Now we can talk, Mr. Friston. If I wanted to disconnect all the retrofitted operational platforms from PRTS, would there be a safer way to do that?
I refuse to speculate about such dangerous work. That would be no different than killing all my precious colleagues.
What if we had no other choice?
Please tell me what might cause you to draw such a conclusion. Have you discovered something?
Closure, can you determine the root cause of the last few PRTS operation errors? The logs show that most of the errors were caused by human error, operational mistakes made by team members. This again. Either way, backup systems are being deployed as quickly as possible. The framework for independent terminal command system has been upgraded as per tsit suggestions. I've named it Zoot. Temporary admin permissions have been given to the Doctor, tsit, and Amia. And me, of course. A lot of the ideas I had when I first designed this system feel a bit outdated now. I really wanted to scrap it and start over, but tsit shut down the application.
We don't have much time left. Can we seamlessly switch to the new terminal command system?
I'm still working on that. We still have no way to replace PRTS's current role in Rhodes Island's daily operations. Much of our medical data and resource allocation calculations still rely on PRTS. But the biggest issue I'm facing is how to construct a data center and energy hub reliable enough to support the new command system. Nothing comes close to what PRTS can do here. Even while handling the massive high-precision computations Rhodes Island requires, it still has power to spare. Unfortunately, I still can't make sense of PRTS's underlying logic. Even Zoot, which completely mimics its design, keeps throwing errors in weird places you wouldn't think of. What if we use Namnanam? Closure, I reviewed the comments you added to my report, and the theories you outlined in response. According to the Castle Office's logs and experiment results, there is at least in theory a possibility that Namnanam could function as a data center and energy hub. But,
That is also extremely risky. We still aren't totally familiar with Namnanam.
But it's not like we haven't learned anything from all this. At least we verified that there's a possibility of using Namnanam for super long-range communications and data transfers. Even though she'd been informed in advance, Vishadel was still freaked out when your greeting showed up out of nowhere.
And the operators who went to assist Kazdel? Have they settled in alright?
Everyone was surprised when they first got there. They assumed the city would be in worse shape. They found their footing quickly, and when the time came for Midnight and me to head back, it was hard to say goodbye to the new friends he'd made. Doctor, do we really have to keep sending people out to the various branch offices? I've never seen the ship as deserted as it is now.
We've come to a mutual understanding, Closure. We're sending more personnel to the regional office, partially to reduce the number of people at risk in the event of an accident aboard the ship, and partially to ensure those offices can respond more efficiently when needed.
I know that, of course. I'm just not used to having to say goodbye to friends all of a sudden. I don't know when it started, but my schedule is packed with farewell dinners now.
Once the risks aboard the ship are cleared, it'll be up to you to decide when the operators return. If everyone is here, then we'll start the meeting. Also, don't forget to delete the voice recordings and data logs for today. Wipe them from PRTS. From here on out, every decision we make will shape the future of Rhodes Island. We've reached a consensus. If we want to guarantee the safety of Rhodes Island's people and assets, there are certain decisions we can't avoid any longer. Simplify the ship's structure. Yes, we need to segregate Rhodes Island's important resources and help the personnel stationed on the ship settle in. This will help ease the concerns of those stationed on the ship while also improving everyone's response time in the event of an emergency.
But I still have some questions, Kaltsit. This means we'll have to dismantle the vast majority of the ship's structure. Dr. Kaltsit, did you accelerate Rhodes Island's defense planning only because of PRTS's recent irregularities?
The recent irregularities have made one thing clear. PRTS is slowly spiraling out of control. And as time goes on, this will only accelerate.
However, PRTS is only Rhodes Island's terminal control system. If it's no longer in our control, then who is it taking orders from? You're worried about internal threats?
Amia, that possibility has always existed.
I trust you, Dr. Kaltsit. What a headache. What do you think, Doctor?
I trust Kaltsit's judgment. She and I have already rehearsed hundreds of contingency plans.
Okay. Then what can I do, Kaltsit?
You've already played a big role in the ship's reconstruction. The mechanical structure connecting the different core areas have been almost completely replaced with cyclic hydrocarbon prefabricated materials over the past 5 years, which can support a certain degree of modular disassembly. A certain degree? The power systems on the lower deck and the uppermost deck cannot be separated for now. When Rhodes Island was first excavated, the limitations of available technology and other constraints prevented us from restoring it to its ideal condition. It wasn't until 7 years ago, when Closure and I drafted the blueprints for the restoration, that we discovered it would be very hard to modify a Rhodes Island structure. I'm pleasantly surprised that we've managed to do as much as we did. The catastrophe warning system and the medical center are practically crucial modules. Both involve technologies that are not yet ready to be disclosed and are also the hardest to deploy. Eager? It's risky, but well warranted. Leveraging Clementia's and Gladia's private channels, we won't even have to establish contact with the Eager authorities. I can ensure this matter is handled discreetly and properly. We might even be able to conduct technology transfers. I reckon that would make Warfarin happy. That is a path I believe we should take, Doctor. Eager, looking at all of the other factors, this is the best choice we can make. I will personally communicate with the Inquisition and Eager personnel to ensure the safe arrival of our own personnel and assets. Most of our patients have now been temporarily placed in treatment facilities in various offices along with reinforcements. All that is left for the remaining patients to be transferred to Eager once the medical center is operational again.
Leave this matter to me. The support vehicle for long-distance patients transport is already prepped and ready to go. As for the transfer arrangements for logistics and engineering, I talked it over with my people, and everyone was enthusiastic about temporarily moving to Kazdal. Many of them are old friends who stuck with us from back then, and returning to Kazdal means a lot to them. Yes, I talked to Vishatil before leaving Kazdal. Babel will assign personnel to escort both our people and our key assets throughout the entire journey. We'll be flying the banners of Babel and the military commission. The mercenaries won't dare try anything.
And then there's our mining module. The militarized mining module needs to be handled with caution. A long time ago, I purchased a semi-decommissioned mining ship from Rimbilliton and registered it under Rhodes Island's name. The ship's mining module can now be legally transferred to the new mining vessel to continue operations in Rimbilliton. At the same time, I placed an order to the market to buy the mining module. To hide your tracks?
Making any major changes in the short term is sure to attract attention, especially from our rivals, who will use the opportunity to use them against us. While calling it a refit and upgrade may be something most factions will accept, anybody with their own plans, the ones watching us more closely, won't be fooled. We need a few more sophisticated explanations. I stopped in Siracusa to resupply before returning to the ship, where I visited Vigil and Penance in Nuova Volsini. They helped me dig into the current state of affairs in Nuova Volsini. As long as the Familia are not publicly pressuring Nuova Volsini, City Hall will be able to protect us. I propose inserting a business department into Nuova Volsini by means of investment. Establishing a cooperative relationship with City Hall will counter both overt and covert maneuvers from competing companies. Doctor, what do you think?
I agree with Amia. Perhaps we can establish some backup warehouse or supply stores. We can build a backup warehouse in Nuova Volsini as well. The logistics system of Nuova Volsini has changed a lot in the past year, and the port's cargo throughput is extremely impressive. With City Hall's cooperation, it will be easier for us to conceal the transportation and storage of important assets.
Doctor, let me handle coordination for the rest of the support facilities. There is one last painful task on the list.
Everyone looks at the blueprints spread out in front of them, as the command center falls silent. This is the key to everything we're doing. Tsit points to a region in the center of the blueprints. Abyss. Abyss. On the blueprint, a new area has been added to what was once a blank space in the central section of the mid-deck. Abyss. Tsit has never told you what this abyss really means, but you still have a vague feeling that this area marked on the blueprint, this area that has never been recorded by PRTS, is inextricably linked to you. A long time has passed since it was last opened. Even back then, when I had to get close to that place to bring back someone important, I didn't dare go near the deeper part, the one that's been sealed away all this time. However, now I'm not even sure what kind of changes have happened in there. As I just said, if the PRTS abnormalities have a specific cause, then the Abyss must be involved somehow. How do you think we should deal with this section, Dr. Jacob? I haven't the slightest idea. I need to go there and investigate.
Dr. Tsit, I can go with...
I'll bring the doctor there myself. Amia, Closure, I need you two to make sure the surrounding areas are completely cleared out. Set up first isolation zone around the Abyss itself, and a second within 1 kilometer of the ship. Ascalon and the elite operators will stay aboard and stand by. I need all other personnel on board to temporarily leave the ship and prepare for countermeasures. Amia, you and Closure must leave temporarily as well. Be prepared to activate our contingency plans at any time to deal with unexpected situations.
How long do we have? A mass migration like this will be hard to get done in a short period of time.
15 days. During this period, you need to complete a full body data scan and comparative analysis, Dr. Jacob. I'll get it done.
Dr. Tsit, what is actually in the abyss anyway?
The beginning of everything and the end of everything. Tsit, I want to go to the abyss and see for myself. Tsit seems to know why I want to do this and gives a slight nod. Alright, but please keep in mind, until we are fully prepared, we can conduct preliminary explorations on the periphery. I'll be careful. We can't go any deeper. I can't tell if getting closer to the core area of the abyss will cause some unexpected changes. We are still some distance from the actual abyss. I also don't have permission to open the way to the abyss. I'm still trying, but to this point I've made very little progress. So you're saying this is where I first woke up on Terra? Physically? Yes, but your situation is a bit more complicated than that. Does coming here bring back any specific memories? Is this some sort of test? Tsit shakes her head. I just want to confirm that you are in good health. After withdrawing from Londinium, our operations in Tree Mounds and Miliarium inevitably forced us to confront the history of this land, and your history. In the Originium assimilated universe, I caught a glimpse of my mission. The savior of this land. The destroyer of this land. Tsit, I cannot avoid it, nor do I have any reason to. Doctor, I stopped questioning your resolve long ago, which is the only reason we're here now. Tsit, I have a theory about the true nature of the abyss. She is here. This is why you chose to leave Amia and Closure out of this conversation. I still haven't figured out how to tell them. After all, I don't fully understand it yet either. Yes, but we would have had to prepare for it anyway, sooner or later. Amia is still young, but every new trial we face helps her mature a little bit as a leader. You can always rely on Closure's knowledge and skill, and she's taking more responsibility over Rhodes Island as well. They are all worthy of your trust and reliance. They will stand by your side for a long time to come. Of course. And so will you. But right now, we need to figure out what exactly is happening to PRTS. Our experience in the assimilated universe left us with many unanswered questions, and ever since Theresis and Theresis joined forces to seize the first Originium, I felt uneasy about what's to come. Perhaps she had already awakened when Namnanam arrived. But that was 3 years ago. I cannot be completely certain. It is very likely that Theresis used some method I cannot trace to cut off the controller from the Originium. They delayed her arrival? I'm afraid delayed is not the most apt description for it. Nonetheless, I must admit that they did something I never imagined they'd do, and, objectively speaking, they bought us more time. However, we will eventually awaken from our beautiful dream. It sounds like we have to open the abyss. Indeed, after all, PRTS is still operational to this day. Its core, server, and power sources are buried within the depths of the abyss. We can't touch them or analyze them. We can never be too cautious when dealing with such an unknown space. I'll share everything I currently know about it with everyone involved in the operation. Can I help you with anything? No. For the version of you that exists now, even approaching these hazy fragments of the past takes a heavy toll, and right now I have no way to help you shoulder that burden. Go help Amia and the others. Leave the abyss to me. If you choose to trust me, that is. Of course. I just want you to know, you're not alone here, tsit.
Thank you for your concern, Jacob. I understand.
Visitor, tsit.
Hello, tsit. We meet again. You look like you need my help. I do. Please search for a technical document, keyword, slumber bridge. Are you still there? I'm here. Sorry, tsit, I still can't output the answer you're looking for. You have crossed the line. I know. But we need it, Theresia. The evolution rate of oripathy is accelerating, and the threat from originium is increasing. Rhodes Island must find a more effective method to respond to it. I get what you're saying, but I cannot provide what you're asking for, as your request violates the underlying logic of DWDB-221E. But I do have a way to circumvent its limits, tsit. Deep dive. Universe? Deep dive? What you're saying and what I'm seeing, it's all beyond my imagination. I have just far too many questions and opinions about this kingdom, but,
Language, yours, cannot describe. Mine, cannot explain. Commonality, thought, existence. Hack your thought. Hack your language. Thought is language. Follow me.
The massive instrument instantly catches the Kotus's attention. Her vision swims, the instrument distorts the light, and her consciousness. To the Kotus, it sometimes appears to spin faster than the eye can follow, other times it appears completely still.
No, it still appears to be moving very slowly. Very slowly.
She stops looking directly at the device, that seems capable of devouring her consciousness, yet she still can't stop herself from falling over. The ice-cold cold traveler catches her.
Thought, resonance. Accept it. Forsake resistance. Hear yourself.
A symbol appears before Hierda. Death. The Kotus instantly hears several different tones at once. She hears several foreign languages she can identify: Brimbilitonian, Ursin, Standard Victorian, and Gaulish, which she's only ever heard spoken by the clergy. But what she hears above all else is a strange language she's never heard before, a language made up of tones. Yet somehow, she understands what these strange tones mean. Hierda answering back in the strange tone,
Death.
Ray Distorter answers back in its own strange tones.
I can't understand you. How?
Thoughts can be anchored and words can be deciphered. Language is a tool, alright, and one of the key elements that helps shape our existence. Tsit is one of the greatest inventions of our time. We've erased the barriers of language. We've bridged the gaps between civilizations.
That symbol,
An anchor for thought, the manuscript that deciphers all known languages, and a tool for interpreting unknown languages. Death. That is the language that, up until now, you have thought the most about, Hierda.
A new symbol appears.
Reincarnation. That is how you all communicate?
Communicating via voice is inefficient. However, it is very intriguing and a good way to express emotion. They still only hold on to this tradition, deepening their emotional bonds with one another.
I don't fully understand you. Can you tell me where we are right now?
A ship that salvages death from the grave. We seek answers to the ultimate questions among the ruins illuminated by light, before the same destruction befalls us. Before death befalls us. The place you have visited, its master calls it Rhodes Island.
The Countess is confused. She's no longer confused by the strangeness of her surroundings. She's perplexed by a different question. How can a god die? So then, we get quite a bunch of setups here, but before we do anything, there was a sequence in this cutscene where you could tell Calcit or suggest to Calcit like Ager, Columbia, and I think it was Londinium. Every single one of them gives a different response back, so before I say anything anymore, I'm gonna put right now in the recording of what happens if you select some of the other options. I obviously went with Ager for this because that is the correct path, but here are the other two options for that section. Columbia. We have a close working relationship with Rhine Lab. Appointing them to take care of the warning system and medical center was an obvious choice. But Mark Max has long maintained a high level of interest in Rhode Island, and I can't predict how the president of Columbia will view the collaboration between our two companies. In addition, the situation in Three Mounts is still complicated. I'm afraid that Rhine Lab might not be able to shield itself from the fallout. I have an idea. Okay, and now she goes into Ager. Alright, very interesting. So that's the conversation that happens if you choose Columbia. Huh, very funny. The first time around I literally just chose Ager out of, I don't know, technological aspect. Because they are the closest aligned with, technologically speaking, with the, well, precursor technology essentially. Okay, but yeah, it makes sense. Who the hell knows what Mark would do? Alright, what is she gonna argue against Londinium? The Londinium Parliament's reconstruction work these past 2 years has been difficult, but the results have been surprisingly impressive. Not only have they cleared most of the Originium crystal clusters from the root, they also managed to stabilize the city's supply of medicine and other resources. Londinium can now indeed provide a secure operation environment for the medical center and will also be able to obtain a large amount of first-hand case data. But this also means we'll be officially cooperating with Parliament again, and the Dukes will once more put heavy pressure on Vina. That's not exactly good news for Londinium, which has only just begun to get back on track. And another risky idea, yeah. Ager. Okay, very interesting. Very interesting. So Londinium is progressing pretty smoothly, almost in its reconstruction. What was it again? Londinium can now indeed provide cleared most of the Originium crystal clusters from their root. Damn. They were really busy in those 3 years and efficient, huh? Interesting. But yeah, Calcit is right. Cooperating back with Londinium would literally just cause the Dukes to be like, I smell an opportunity. Oh, twirls mustache. Oh god, the Dukes. Anyway, that's the other two choices. Alright then, and those are the other two options, or rather what is being said if you select the other two question marks essentially. But yeah, that is quite the setup with this whole thing. First off, closure, new drip, nice. Yeah, very nice new drip. She has to get a new drip every new arc where she appears in, which I have nothing against it. And she definitely now looks way closer to that one mystery character in the latest preview for the upcoming main story chapters that was released last year. Which I'm guessing at this point everybody was guessing it already to be closure, which probably is closure again, but we'll see. We are not there yet. By the way, I saw it somewhere brought up as well on the theme of Hierda. I need to check again Preview 4, but I think Hierda herself already appears as well in Preview 4, but I'm gonna check that later in between this and the next episode, because right now I want to finish this work first. But yeah, very interesting. PRTS is being set up as malfunctioning and something's going on. The Abyss thing is essentially also a thing, and it gets mentioned here in the... I think it got mentioned in the cutscene as well. That is the blank area. All the time back in the past, the blank area inside of the maps of Rhodes Island got already mentioned way too long ago at this point. But now we have a bit of a distortion on the map as well, because of the area now being called Abyss, and apparently if you poke into it, it gets camouflaged essentially from sensors. Something is there, and as the doc is speculating right now, the big speculation is that the Abyss, or the section after the section where the doc was essentially slumbering away for a couple thousand years, you know, just a tiny little beauty sleep, but in this second portion of this section where the dock was, it seems that not just the core component of PRTS is in there, but Barista herself might be doing her beauty sleep. Which honestly, if she is actually in there, I would actually not be surprised. I don't think anybody would be surprised about that. As much as how she appears to be fascinated and infatuated by the dock, or was by the previous, you know, the previous doc before the memory wipe, I would not be surprised if our dear old, as we all call her a bit jokingly, Yandere, wouldn't be, you know, sleeping nearby. I would absolutely not be shocked if that turns out to be the case. But it is what it is. It is being set up so far in this way. But in other parts of this cutscene, we also get to see why the drone sounded or was producing melodies, essentially. As it appears, and you will probably hear me talk about it in the clip section as well. I think most of the stuff I just said will be in the clip section. But the drones, or rather the life forms, seem to all be communicating with kind of like a universal language type of thing, where it just sounds like a melody. And quite honestly, it immediately reminded me of how the movie Arrival is treating that universal language that the aliens bring to the humans in that movie. By the way, Arrival, fascinating movie. Go and watch that one. It does end on a very kind of weird tone, maybe because of the implications of some things. But overall, I like the concept that they were going with there as well. Because this is kind of like the same thing, very similar honestly, with like a universal language that all races can speak once like a higher portion of the brain gets unlocked, and everybody understands it immediately. But yeah, this is kind of wacky, and yeah, it did answer why Ray Distorter did kind of like sound like it was humming, and that was probably like why Hierda was perceiving it that way. But very, very fascinating. And then let's not forget also the very big bombshell at the end of the cutscene of Ray Distorter just casually spouting out the name of the spaceship being Rhodes Island. Well, who had that on a bingo card, please? Now, to be fair, I'm gonna leave my reaction about that whole thing in the clip section, because I had quite a reaction to that, or prep, I guess, could also be a good word for it. But just to summarize also as well, I was for a long while already the proprietor of the theory that the land ship was at some point a spaceship, just probably retrofitted or something to be a land ship. Maybe it can be retrofitted back, or just, you know, transferred back, I don't know, whatever. I was saying for a long while that the land ship was a former spaceship, especially because as many designs in this game for gigantic buildings and structures borrow on a specific design theme, and this game definitely, when it comes to the land ship of Rhodes Island, definitely is kind of borderline borrowing on the design of the land ship from the game Homeworld. especially from the game Homeworld Deserts of Karak. Yeah, there is a specific theme of design for the Higaran ships from there, and I was always the proprietor of the thing that the land ship is a spaceship. Now, I'm not obviously saying here that one and the other are the same thing, because the story still didn't answer the question of when exactly is what taking place. Is it taking place at the same time, just in another portion of the universe? Is Hierda just in the assimilated universe and is experiencing just a portion of recorded time and space? Is it actually in another space, like I just said as well? Like she's just somewhere out there in, I don't know, a new body that was provided for her to get in contact with someone. I don't know. We're gonna see as the story is gonna progress. Could be anything at this point. But a very interesting thing. Could be also just a thing of that this is taking place at the same time, but funnily enough, I mean, it kind of would fit. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. But it would very well fit that either A, that ship is the original Rhodes Island and the land ship just got named after it, or the land ship was never named Rhodes Island and the name Rhodes Island just stems, you know, they found the name in the database for the spaceship and named the land ship after it. Or it could be a little cheeky thing of Priestess just naming the ship Rhodes Island because, you know, she wants to feel close to the dock. I don't know. Could be a lot of things. But yeah, that's about as much as I can say about that right now, because there is currently no confirmation as of yet. Anyhow, we are going to be continuing now to the next portion, which is a tutorial stage, tutorial number 26. The stage is titled The Threat Within, and it says, after all, enemies do not always come from the outside. This tutorial stage carries some story with it, so I will be including it in this episode. And the clip will be only featuring a voiceover. I will be talking about the little things outside of that, and probably the raw reaction to the thing will all be in the clip section as well at the end of this episode, so you can enjoy that. But outside of that, let's proceed with this.
Is that maintenance helper lost again?
Watch out for the Originium on it. Don't let it get close.
Stop, maintenance helper. Don't go any further. I'm getting strange commands from the terminal's combat interface. Same here. What does this strange symbol mean?
PRTS process reset. Threat detected. Identifying target. Identification complete. Begin combat deployment. Prepare to eliminate threat.
Hey, how did this maintenance helper get here? Instructor Doberman?
Something's not right. I'm calling for backup. Be careful.
We are getting attacked by the drink machines? What's the situation there, Instructor Doberman? We noticed that PRTS has been doing a lot of dangerous things without authorization. Intel indicates that PRTS is bypassing permissions and deploying enemies to marked locations directly. But we can't stop it by deploying our own operators at those locations in advance. Like this.
High threat target identified. Modifying command. Reassessment complete.
PRTS threw something in front of me. Is it charging up? Charging complete. PRTS is activating it. It's a weakening node. When activated by PRTS, it weakens all operators around it while it remains active. But we can also activate it first to weaken the enemy. It will also have a longer duration that way. It costs DP to activate, so we'll have to be flexible about our approach. Eliminate all the remaining enemies.
はい、皆さん、感染源と思われるものには絶対に触らないようにしてくださいね。ここだ。はあ。Mission accomplished.
So, for people who stayed blind to this chapter, how many of you had on your bingo cards playing chess against PRTS? I will not lie, it will be in the clip section. I can't remember what I said about it, but when the little skeletal hand appeared for the first time, I thought that was a tutorial hand because they use that hand for tutorials always. So that was kind of wacky. I was looking at the hand and there was no highlight. I was just confused, like, huh? What is happening here? What are we doing? And then the thing starts moving and deploying. And also on the top of the map, you see like an eye, very similar to the encounter on the Operation 15-2 stage, where it was overseeing the battle with Theresis. So yeah, I think we all know what that means. I think we all know what's happening here. But speculations with very concrete evidence, I would say at this point, right? But anyway, we continue on to stage 15-5, which also will have only one cutscene. And it says, Origin of Conflict. All are but fragments written down in that endless book of cacophonies. A new symbol appears before Hierda. Time.
You ask me why the first language I shared with you after our thoughts resonated was death. I really don't know either.
Aboard a strange colossal vessel called Rhodes Island, the goddess can barely feel the passage of time. It makes her uneasy. Ever since the day she became infected, time has meant everything to her. Time will bring her death, and perhaps liberation. However, the beings who dwell in this strange place, yet deny they are gods, seem utterly indifferent to it.
Maybe it's because I've never been afraid of dying. Death is nothing more than a passage to a new environment.
Greatest order in Rimbilitonian.
Pessimist. That's how they would describe you in your own language, yes?
A pessimist? I don't think so.
The goddess blurts it out, and regrets it just a little. She had agreed with many of the clergy's arguments back during those debates, but now that she is here, does she still need to think in those terms? Does she really care about everything she experienced before the collapse? After all, even time has forsaken her now.
I once worked in a mine that seemed to be endless. To maintain efficiency, the overseer would kill or drive off any bothersome originium slugs.
Originium slugs? A mine?
Yes, those originium slugs are even weaker than me. And the mines were once my home. But the overseer didn't expect that the kindest worker in the mine was secretly feeding and caring for the originium slugs they were trying to drive away, which only drew more of them into the mine. Eventually, these slugs disrupted the mine's foundation, leading to a collapse.
But you survived.
The slugs' secretions fed me. In such a harsh environment, many of them lived short lives, yet new ones kept being born. They gave me strength.
Miners, originium slugs, and yourself. What your story ignores the death of Terra, Hierda. You do not treasure your Terra.
That's not true at all. In our language, Terra bless us is a phrase that invokes something almost divine.
You still have a very limited definition of life.
don't understand. You've shown me so many individuals, each starkly distinct from the next. You all feel and love and hate just as we do, and yet are still vastly different from each other. Salvaging death from the grave, you all live united by a purpose that I can't understand.
But why have I come here? The goddess ponders this question, but her intuition tells her the answer lies with the person who just extended a hand to her. She looks out the porthole at the top of the cabin into the cold, silent, endless expanse of space. The light from the distant giant sphere once again passes over the dead planet, piercing the Cortus's eyes. However, despite her blurry vision, she spots a small silhouette within the light.
There is, someone out there in deep space? Is that the one I'm looking for?
Someone out in the depths of space seems to hear the Cortus's voice. A shadow within the light stirs, ever so slightly. In an unknown language,
You're looking for me?
one circle, two circles, the little dots are spinning in the darkness. They're accelerating, coming closer and closer. They rip a hole in the darkness, and a bright blazing beam of light shines through. I extend my arms and embrace them.
Core body temperature is elevated. Nerve blocker has already been administered. Body temperature rising rapidly. Prepare to administer muscle relaxant and replenish blood volume. Repeat the medication again, and let's start the operation. Dr. Warfarin? Did I doze off again? Maybe I'm just really exhausted. Don't try and speak now. Your throat is badly injured. You feel like you want to sleep? Yes, I had a long dream. You didn't feel any other discomfort? No. Something happened just now, Dr. Warfarin. Nothing major. Did you dream about anything, special? Anything special? That's hard to say. In my dreams there were balls of mud spinning around other black velvet. They were now big, now small. One moment they were smaller than children's marbles, the next larger than the whole of Victoria. Someone picked them up and flung them back out. They started smashing into each other and bursting like fireworks. But the whole time I didn't hear a sound. Anything else? I also saw threads stretching from one ball of mud to another, each one made of light, and on every thread there were people, rounding outward, racing along the light. I followed them. I ran to a white patch of earth. It was completely empty, save for a single stone tablet standing there. Stone tablet? What was written on it? Nothing, Dr. Warfarin. And that's when I woke up. What a strange dream. But then again, you remember it quite clearly, which means your brain's memory module is still functioning properly. The more clearly you remember your dream, the closer you were to waking up when you dreamt it. As I see it, the fact that you were able to remember your dream is a very good thing. Say, I haven't seen Dr. Touch today. She has other matters to attend to. She told me to give this to you. Look. Uh-huh. The springs, the gears, the hands, all the parts that make up a clock. She said it would help relieve your stress. Dr. Warfarin, is Rhodes Island in some kind of trouble again?
Little one, you've come to the wrong place. Unsurprisingly, BP got lost and is hiding in fear. It seems like Closure failed to examine your program modules. Little one, this item here should definitely not be in your maintenance list. The Goliath lifts it gently and examines it curiously in his hands. BP spins its threads angrily. What a huge change. It was empty when Her Highness left. Now there are so many interesting people and things here, right? Ascalon? Tell them not to worry. I'll take care of the mobility layer.
Okay.
Ascalon, you seem in poorer spirits than you were when you returned from Victoria. What about all the people working under you?
They have been dispatched to create the isolation zone outside the ship. I'm remaining on the ship, and that's sufficient.
Rodan does indeed need a blade that moves through the darkness, but it doesn't mean that you need to consciously remain silent. Come and chat with me when you have time. I have liquor here. Besides, I want you to tell me about Theresis. I witnessed the beginning of that heroic epic, and you witnessed its end. What we saw was very different.
Okay. I will convey your thoughts to the Doctor and Amia when I have time.
The Goliath places BP in front of the exit passage. Stop wandering around. The mobility layer is dangerous. Don't underestimate what high concentrations of originium can do to someone like you. I'll keep my eye on the work here, and that'll be enough. BP runs away in a panic. Dame Tsit. What could have gotten you distance? PRTS Operation Record, Confidential Information, Escort Catastrophe Warning System and Medical Center Core Components. Executors of Mission, Confidential. Mechanist Logos Radian. Contact. Records erased. Situation abnormal. Enemy weapons technology exceeds mission parameters. Risk of exposure present. Possible enemy signal detection capability. Shutting down drone transmission temporarily. Logos, I'm counting on you for the drone's live feed. I'm ready. Circuits. Etched into originium through spoken words. Drawn by hand to reveal what the swarm perceives. Logos's bone pen hovers in the air, automatically transcribing the images recorded by the drone. 12 flexible vehicles buried in the sand, 31 armed militants. The 5 sniper nests have already been marked. There seems to be a signal isolation device in the tent, which the scanner cannot penetrate. All are carrying unidentified weapons. Threat level unknown. Further on-site confirmation required. Well, Radian, you're up next. I'm starting the drone recall procedure.
In position. Wait a second. Can you see me?
The bone pan taps lightly, its strokes weaving together the rough outline of a human form. Radian gives a tentative wave to the 2 people watching the feed, and even in floating text, her smile comes through clearly. We are standing by, ready to assist you.
It's no problem. In 90 seconds, your drone and I will leave together.
On screen, Radian walks into the signal blocking tent as if no one else is there, and the transmission cuts out. Logos? We are ready to launch a full assault at any time. The incantations have already drifted on the wind to the edge of their camp. 10 seconds. 20 seconds. 30 seconds.
Done. All info's been transcribed. I'll be back in a sec. It didn't create even a single stir. I overwrote the visual signals received by each target's brain. Chances are, all they saw was a mischievous little sand beast slipping into the tent to escape the wind and sand.
Mechanist, how goes it? Did you discover anything while parsing the intel reports?
All weapons have had their origins erased and have been modified to suit their operators. but I'm familiar with how to operate it. Doctor discussed its rather rare design with me just recently. They're from Ager.
Ager? But the people who are going to interface with us, aren't they also?
Regardless, the threat has been cleared. We must not yield to such a threat and allow it to interfere with our equipment transfer, nor can we create any disruption that could alert the personnel involved. The matter is of great importance and needs to be resolved quietly. PRTS Operation Record Confidential. Ensure the transfer and installation of mining modules. Executors Confidential. Misery, Stormeye, Sharp. Contact, records erased. There is no way. They're wearing special protective equipment to ward off our physical attacks. This was arranged in advance. They even knew our personnel layout. Arknights, stay back. They're clearly after our mining module.
Figures. I knew I'd end up working overtime again. Spot, support Midnight and Catapult. Popcar, have you called for reinforcements? Yeah, I called already. Arknight, be careful!
Futile. As for the others, there is no one else. Where's that sound coming from?
You really have prepared well. Unfortunately, you're not quite strong enough to handle arts.
No, that's not right. It shouldn't be you. Shh. Even your heart has gone silent.
I'll deal with the injured. That said, Midnight is getting too worked up again. Arknight, I'll have to trouble you to deal with him.
Leave him to me.
The doctor guessed correctly. Someone leaked the details of our operations.
Wrap this up quickly. Tow the backup mining ship to the nearest nomadic city and get the energy bay patched up. Then return to the ship at once to avoid any mishaps.
Pith, where are you, our backup? PRTS told me it would be Misery. You follow the hunch. A last-minute change in plans right before departure. I'm just worried that...
I believe in you. Misery, Stormeye, Sharp, and such have other plans.
Do we need to inform the rest of our colleagues via PRTS?
No, that's unnecessary. If everything goes well, I was worrying over nothing. If anything goes wrong, resolve the issue as quickly as possible and then return to defend the ship. PRTS Operation Record Confidential. Escort Logistics and Engineering Department members to Kansdale. Executors Confidential. Touch, Pith, Mantra. Contact, Hodderer, Ines. How many waves of mercenaries have attacked us already today?
This is the 7th wave now. They may not be too threatening, but it's really strange how many of them have been attacking us every day this past week. We've only just crossed Castle's border.
These guys do not fear death. They remind me of the mercenaries we met in Sargon. Faithless. Misery. What's taking you so long? We planned for you to be back by now. You should know that this place is still quite some distance from the Scar Market. Even if I knew every shortcut around here, it would still take me some time.
What has the investigation revealed so far?
For the past few weeks, someone's been routing the majority of Scar Market's orders here through a network of outsourcers. There is no way to trace the client. They've covered their tracks well. In other words, it was just bad luck that we ran into these mercs. They're not actively coming to attack us.
I'm afraid so. It seems that not all of the worries Doctor had before we departed were unfounded.
Everyone, there is news from the sentries. Another group of mercenaries is shifting toward our position. There's a high chance we'll be engaging them again soon. Misery, something's not right here. These unending waves of mercenaries don't seem to be trying to harm us. Instead, it's like they're...
Trying to delay us.
We can stay here and continue escorting the team. You all can return to the ship now.
Don't worry, Fang. Some folks are going to find it harder than they thought to put their schemes into motion. The air is fluctuating.
Is that wind? No, is that the life bone?
High above the sky, a massive skeleton has emerged, stirring the dust of history and casting a vast shadow below. For many at Rhodes Island, it is their first time seeing the massive skeleton that once appeared during the chaos in Victoria.
What a sight!
While investigating the scar market, I took a trip to Casdale to meet a few old friends. Let's leave the rest to them. We should go home.
I've already silenced all communications in visible range. Engaging now.
Logos blows the bone whistle. Huh. Their weapons counter my gear, but they offer little resistance against your bone whistle and incantations. Far from it. They just don't quite understand the rules of my speech yet. I'm curious about the thought process the Jaegers followed in developing such precise weaponry. Then I'll grab a few pieces to take back and dismantle. I'll help you study them.
Come on, you two. We are carrying out a mission here. There are at least 3 squads waiting in ambush up ahead. We can't take them all on. I'm afraid we can't handle this cleanly and quietly anymore. We'll need to tell our people to brace for the assault.
Hey! The reinforcements the doctor called for are here. Radiant Mechanist, mark the location for us. The bad guy will be there soon.
Blaze? Check your communications device. I synchronized our location with you.
Acknowledged. Oh, wait a moment, Rosmontes. Didn't we agree I'd rush in first and draw their fire away from you? I'll control the arts.
Finished. I checked the signals in the surrounding area. They've all been cleared out. Who can tell me what this thing really is?
They're all looking at a broken little handy.
When it tried to self-destruct, I had to use all my strength just to stop it. The people interfacing with us are also Jaegers. Why are they attacking our people and equipment?
Let Dr. Kautz and the doctor determine that. Ensure that we return to the ship as soon as our personnel and equipment are safely transferred to Clementia. We need to deal with these issues as soon as possible. There are still other unknown leakers out there. This is just the beginning, I'm afraid.
That's strange. Why is PRTS responding even slower now? Or is it just my imagination? This isn't right, no. Let me check it again. PRTS, output all back-end logs from the past 2 weeks. No problems here, and no problems here either. No problems anywhere?
So, yeah, the chess games against PRTS are continuing, it seems. Jaeger seems to be doing also some shady shit in the background, or at least a faction of the Jaeger are doing some shit, because obviously, like it was said in the story, not everybody is aligned with the ones that we are aligned with, so you know how that goes. But yeah, interesting shit is going on. Also, Orchid in main story, Popcar in main story? What? Okay, halfway joking, but what the shit? That was a surprise. Popcar getting super relevant all of a sudden, apparently, together with Orchid. Also seeing Radiant in the main story is very, very nice. For once, I love how they're cheeky for a bit there and just showing her on like a projection for a brief moment, like transparent on a projection. I'm like, oh, come on, don't be cheeky like that. Come on, just show her full model. But yeah, that was kind of fun to see. But yeah, we are playing essentially 4D chess now against PRTS just to confuse it and deploy units somewhere else. As we've seen, it is working, but oh boy, we have quite the enemy from within apparently. And yeah, we shall now continue on to our next stage. But before we do so, we have one new enemy to add here, which is the, well, hot drink machine, because of course that also has to exist. And it says, hot drink machine has had its temperature control module disrupted by Originium. The superheated drinks it delivers bring physical and psychological trauma. Prize winner of the engineering department's 10th Ig Nobel Prize Awards. Though it will not be long before the complaints overflow the department's inbox. Look, this is a very super serious chapter, but we had to have some humor somewhere, right? Anyway, we move on to stage number 6, which has an after cutscene, so let's introduce our new enemy first, which is the mock-up auto meal distributor. And it says, cafeteria meal distributor that is still in beta testing. A busy operator had the bright idea to attach a maintenance helper to it, to save the effort of walking from the dorms to the cafeteria, but the timing of the test was unfortunate to say the least. Very unfortunate. But anyway, stage number 6 is titled Etched Bone Deep, and it says, humanity guards itself against everything. Fire, storm, cold, anything it can predict. But there is no way for humanity to guard against itself.
Doctor, Mantra and the others have already returned to the ship. Your guess was correct. Someone is targeting our mission. This instrument is from Ager.
The little handy.
Dr. Tsit, can we discover anything from its remaining parts?
No. The Ager Academy of Technology put a great deal of care into this delicate piece of equipment. Given their pride, I'll bet they made sure no one could ever crack their little handy. But the appearance of the little handy itself is enough to explain many problems. Doctor, do you remember the joined Marine Corps? Of course. The reason you met with the Ager Council was to facilitate cooperation. Both the Iberian and Rimbilitonian authorities have responded to our call. The problem is that once cooperation begins, subsequent developments could spiral beyond what we've anticipated. In recent weeks, the Ager fleet has not only constructed ports in Iberia, but also established landing sites along the southern coast of Rimbiliton. The Agers from the deep sea made no immediate move to land. Instead, they quickly carried out a number of operations, including hydrographic surveying under the banner of technical cooperation. They also quickly assembled a land patrol through a mix of hired personnel and official partnerships, relying on more neutral intermediaries to facilitate cooperation with land-based forces. So you're saying the attackers are the land patrol? We're still only speculating, but right now the land patrol is the only one that fits all the evidence we've collected.
Dr. Tsit, some consuls don't back Clementia, yes, but it doesn't prove that Ager is behind all of this.
No, I'm more inclined to believe that someone took advantage of the internal conflicts within Ager. The land patrol near the Iberian border, the mining ship being headed off in Rimbiliton, the mercenaries on the Casdalian frontier. The breadth of their deployments and the depth of their knowledge about Rhodes Island's classified missions, that's more than enough to prove that Ager isn't behind this.
However, there is no possibility of a rebellion within Rhodes Island.
I don't believe that will happen either. Doctor, do you think there's anyone else in Rhodes Island who could do that besides us? No. That's right. No one else could do that.
Dr. Tsit, the threats that Rhodes Island faces now are unpredictable. Dr. Wolfman also warned us several times. The special patients she is caring for, their conditions are deteriorating faster than she can control. Whether to save our patients or to respond to potential crises, we need more aggressive responses. I've reviewed the records Theresis left in the Black Crown. She also made major breakthroughs through her work on Civilite Eterna. I can visit Civilite Eterna to look for potential help, just like Theresis did.
We must carefully assess the risks involved, Amia. Amia, Are you sure you're ready?
I cannot give you a definitive answer, Doctor. But I will never stop trying. Any advantage I can gain may help Rhodes Island progress further. I want to try.
I'll go with Amiya. Doctor, I cannot agree to such a risky plan. Can Singularity turn a link to my thoughts?
Doctor, that's too dangerous. No one has ever done something like this before. I agree with Dr. Kalsit that you shouldn't take the risk.
Kalsit recalls the experience of her dear friend, which is not something she is happy to recall. Yes, Singularity Turner can do that. She did it before.
Huh?
Theresa. Doctor, your mind is incredibly complex, but you're not the only one at risk here. Amiya could be exposed to completely unforeseen shocks as well. I will not agree to this preposterous proposal.
Dr. Kalsit!
Amiya, this is my opinion. I cannot interfere with yours and the doctor's final decision on this matter, but I hope you understand my stance. Amiya, I can open my mind to you completely. We don't have to force it in one. We can give it a few tries.
But Dr. Kalsit!
When it's all over, we'll go apologize to her together. It's not this plan she's opposed to per se.
I trust you, Doctor.
Leave the decision of when to stop entirely up to you. Let's start after I finish arranging the defenses. Are you worried about me? I'm not mad at all. Once again, we've arrived at a critical turning point, and last time, Babel met the fate I dreaded most. It turns out that I can't make sure everything is running on its ideal track, Monster. Monster raises a claw and rubs gently. Our own limitations have begun to affect our usefulness in more important endeavors. We may be able to witness the changes of the stars and the untamed cosmos, but when faced with a real crisis, we're no different from any other creatures on this great land. Monster lets out a dissatisfied growl. Thank you for comforting me. I can sense your good intentions. It lets out an anxious growl. Yes, I suppose Amiya and the Doctor have already begun preparing to delve deeper into Civilite Eterna. I will not interfere with Amiya's decision. She's mature enough to make the most correct judgment. And the Doctor... the Doctor isn't quite the same anymore either. Maybe I still have a glimmer of hope in my heart. Maybe this time the outcome will be different. Monster makes for a subdued bow. It is true that my own sanity is constantly warning me. Touching the Doctor's mind again with the help of Civilite Eterna is not a sound decision, but Amiya is right. We don't have much choice. Monster, I will protect the Doctor and Amiya. At this moment, Monster can sense even Kalsit's slightest emotions. Ever since Kalsit's latest awakening, Monster has been at her side. Monster is her companion, the symbiote she personally guides, and more importantly, herself. Monster lets out an affectionate murmur. You're wrong. I do not feel hopeless, Monster. I am delighted that the ancients overthrew the rule of the elders, and I am also pleased that Lugal Shargus set the starting point for a new civilization. I have made mistakes out of arrogance, but I have also regained my confidence by making dear friends. Maybe yours and my basic structures will always be alien to this land, but that doesn't mean we will always walk alone. I found my home in Rhodes Island, on this great land. I fulfilled her expectations, Monster. I've learned to love. I found myself. Monster moves confusedly and wraps its tail around Calcit.
I must protect Ami and the doctor. I must protect the true variable here. The future I cannot even glimpse. I've communicated with Civilite Eterna before, yet I haven't been able to break through my own limitations. But Amia can. Of that, Theresa and I are certain. I'm sure she can pluck significance from the massive trove of data. With Theresa's blessing, she can do it. She is still Amia after all. I have seen her grown into a leader with my own eyes. Following in footsteps, she might find some words that one left behind. In the past, when Originium had not yet taken shape, there was an era when luminaries competed to argue with the epoch itself. Their wonderful ideas, born of a desire to celebrate and save lives, still persist. All is not yet lost, Monster. Terra has a chance, no matter how faint, to keep that hope alive. Me? No, Monster. I'm better at memories, remembering the history I witnessed and have seen erased by time. I am not special at all.
Calcit calmly inscribes the important info into Monster's spine.
If the outcome I fear most does come to pass, if the one I least want to see stands in front of us once more, protect the doctor, protect Amia. I will engrave this directive into your basic behavioral strategy matrix.
Monster lets out an agitated howl.
Come, Monster. We still have work to do. If the threat does come, I must ensure that Rhodes Island is Terra's first outpost against the crisis. I will be your final safeguard.
So yeah, very short cutscene, but very impactful cutscene for multiple reasons. Number one, the Doc and Ami are preparing to do a deep dive into Civilite Eterna together. Very interesting concept there. But also the scene with Monster and Calcit at the very end of the cutscene. Plus, Walking the Dust music playing. Damn, son. Also, that has to be like... I think that is like the most high-res picture that I've seen in a while in this game. I'm not even joking. The moment that picture appeared first time on the screen, I could tell a lot of work was put into that picture, and it shows because it definitely stands out from the rest of this game. I feel a certain high Mao has been working on that one personally. But yeah, very impactful scene there with Calcit pretty much giving Monster a hard command into its coding. And yeah, well, once again, just as a quick reminder that Monster has always been evolving with Calcit, or rather, at least from what we know from what the game has provided, pretty much in a show and tell kind of format. Monster before Calcit's death 200 years ago after the invasion of Kazdal, when she was leading all of those armies together, Monster back then was numbered with number 2, not with number 3 in the name. And the pure evidence of that is literally in Calcit's very own module. I think it's the very first module that was added to Calcit that not only is called Monster with a number 2 in the name, but also talks about the whole resurrection process to some degree. It doesn't go into detail, but it does insinuate the whole taking the memories of the Calcit that died and putting them into the new Calcit that got reborn essentially, and this new Calcit continuing then the journey of the previous one. And apparently Monster also evolves through that process as well as it's regenerating itself or something. I don't know if it's a thing of that Monster, I don't know, absorbs the corpse of the previous one before the new one gets resurrected or some shit like that, but that is, thinking about it and what was insinuated here, kinda I think it's kind of starting to fuel into the whole theory that I had about Cal probably having to pass away in this chapter. If we are doing a massive leap from the spiky xenomorph lookalike that we have like now to anime waifu essentially, which is the playable version right now, something will happen. Again, it's pure speculation, of course, right now, if it's gonna be a death or not, or something else. Because even if it's gonna be a death, Tsit so far has always come back. So if it's gonna be a death, I don't think Tsit is gonna be permanently dead. Because again, the evidence is in the game, right? At least for her. But we'll see. We'll see what's gonna happen. Might not be a death, might be some kind of other procedure that's gonna happen, but some massive leap in Monster's evolution will definitely come down the line. And I do, again, coming back to the scene that was playing out here, I do love this little tender moment between the two of them of just Tsit putting out her worries on Monster and Monster just literally hugging her. That was very sweet. But anyway, we move on to our next stage, which is 15-7, titled Moment of Truth. And it says, the only way of discovering the limits of the possible is to venture a little way past them into the impossible.
I've never tried to use the black crown to access your thoughts before, Doctor.
Don't worry, Amiya. I've opened my heart and mind for you.
Thank you.
She looks to her side at a beam of bright, warm light gently tugging at her hand. She shuts her eyes and slowly lets out a sigh of relief.
We're in this together, Amiya. I don't know where this journey of ours will lead us, Doctor, but I'll protect you.
I'll protect you too, Amiya. Under the watchful eye of Civilite Eterna, she gives your brow a light touch.
Your memories and emotions flow towards me. It's strange. They billow so gently as they flow, and the memories' edges close in hand. What did Theresis see back then?
Amiya sees you, and Tsit, and herself, and the many people aboard Rhodes Island. As she walks deeper, the boundary of that one memory comes within reach. Curiosity and concern nearly cause her to forget her mission. She wants to reach out to touch it. Touch upon the start of your memories. Chernobog, the sarcophagus, and you, weakly stretching out your hand.
Doctor, take my hand! It looks like there's other memories too. Why are they so blurred? Who was...
Amiya. You grab a hold of Amiya. Amiya, were you lost?
I don't know. This is the first time I've ever dived so deep into someone else's mind. It's a very odd feeling.
Good thing you pulled it off.
Thankfully, yes. Now I can sense even the faintest of your thoughts.
I can sense yours too.
You sure are relaxed right now.
I've got nothing to worry about with you around. So, what should we do next?
Hold my hand tight, Doctor. I'll protect you on the road ahead. Theresa taught me everything about the role of king that day. She awaits us at the start of that path. I get what you're saying, but I cannot provide what you're asking for, as your request violates the underlying logic of DWDB-221E. But I do have a way to circumvent its limits, Calcit. Deep dive. Unfortunately, not even Theresa was able to penetrate this deeply. The risk was far beyond what she could bear. You're not here for answers? Then why are you so insistent I access this data that is useless to you? I have no way of knowing if there will come a day that Amiya asks you the same question, but I hope that, in the darkness, she will find the way I lit for her. That was Calcit's answer to me, Amiya. Could I ask you to look through all of Dr. Calcit's access records for us? I would be happy to. Her every doubt, her every insistence, each and every time she left in disappointment, I will show it all to you, unreserved. You have dove into Civilite Eterna before, Amiya, but this time what you seek lies far beyond your limits. It is a place where life on Terra cannot tread for the time being, but perhaps you will find the chance to touch upon this knowledge that is not yours. Because you have someone who walks alongside you, Dr. Jacob.
Of me?
You will quickly understand what I mean, Dr. Jacob. Follow me, Amiya. Follow me too.
Civilization's Singularity. A great hallway of pure white circles around a center point that defies comprehension, the Singularity. An unending stream of complex information flows from it, but the strands you manage to snatch hold of are still within your understanding. Amiya cannot see the way you entered, but after an interminably long time walking down the corridor, she finds herself back where she started.
You noticed, Amiya. The stagnation of civilization does not mean it stands still. It continues onwards on time's linear flow, unable to turn back. But all that life discovers and creates is doomed to fall into an inextricable cycle. Mathematics, physics, philosophy, theology, these theories and practicalities, among others, cannot inspire hope as they once did. The ascending spiral has failed. Life squanders its future as it stumbles blindly in the dark. So, this is as far as we can go? Only as defined by Terra's current knowledge. It serves as a limit, yes, but it is also a safeguard. A safeguard?
Some kind of cognitive barrier.
Cognitive?
Like how we can't make sand beasts calculate wave dynamics. Even if we gave them all the data and formulae, all forcing it will do is hurt their brains.
As keen and intuitive as ever, Doctor, but not entirely correct. DWDB-221E enlightens life at a steady pace to bring it forward. It does not simply reveal fragments of the future to the seeker to create evolutionary leaps that violate the laws of nature and ethics. Knowledge cannot be unlearned, Amiya. The dreamers who glimpse the true sky are no longer happy to slumber in ignorance on the ground. Information beyond civilization's cognitive limits will simply blind them to reality, a deadly poison luring them into annihilation's embrace, throwing their civilization into the abyss. And so, this boundary was born. But why does it look so much like a prison made from some giant data servers? It appears in a form your mind can comprehend, like how DWDB-221E appears as a black crown in the material world when accompanying you. To a minuscule end, it is an Ouroboros river, forever unable to flow to the sea. But to a celestial body whose lifespan stretches to the trillions, it is a gravitational field that will stay with them their entire life, unfathomable, inescapable.
You walk towards a section but one step away from the void. The distant singularity at the core calls to you. Information washes past you like gentle waves, showing you glimpses of many fascinating sights. They are fleeting shadows of your past, a life you have lost and forgotten. Stray visions of an unfamiliar era.
Be careful, Doctor!
Amiya tugs on your hand.
We don't know what will happen if you fall off this boundary. Are these what you saw?
Our minds are as one. What I see, you see.
The Originium slug egg went through the bridge between stars. So all the stories really did happen.
The Originium slug egg went through the bridge between stars?
When I was really young, I met someone who was incredibly caring. That care was matched with a great weakness, but also a stubborn insistence in carrying me across a road laden with Originium shards. When I was dizzy with fever, yet too scared of nightmares to sleep, a patient voice regaled me with stories I had never heard before. In that dark and cramped cave, difficult to find ore samples were smashed without the slightest hesitation. And these shining stones were scattered across the walls and used to tell me tales of the stars and the heavenly paradise above the clouds. Would you like to hear one of those stories, Doctor?
I would be happy to.
There was once someone who drove a mysterious vehicle shaped like an Originium slug egg under an onsum, who went through the bridge between stars. On the most quiet of nights, guides would borrow glowing clouds from old stars and make round mirrors out of them to light the way. On the other side of the bridge, spires faded in and out of the clouds, and the stars wore crowns of flowers. When ascending on that crown, you'll see that it's a really big playground, one where lovely little children gather to play. But it was hard for the vehicle's driver to stop. The driver changed over to the most miraculous vehicle on hand and drove it for many years. But the years came to an end, and nobody was left. Nobody but the driver.
Do you mean me? Is the person in your story me? Amiya grips your hand tightly.
Yes. Thanks to my infection, it's hard for me to remember much from that time, and there's a lot from those stories I don't understand. But I will do everything I can to remember every single one of your stories. Because they are my stories. Tales you told to me. I don't want to forget them. I never thought today would be the day I finally get to share your gift to me with you, Doctor. This time, we witnessed it together, you and I. We got to know this past life of yours once more.
Thank you, Amiya.
Do you long for this kind of life, Doctor?
I don't.
You don't? Strange, it was such a beautiful life. One without the pain of oripathy, without conflict or war, where children could live their lives in joy.
Maybe I didn't want to show you the crueler side of things. There's always two sides to life, Amiya.
Maybe you're right. The cruelty behind the happiness, the joy behind the suffering. We've experienced it all ourselves. I'll admit, I shared these wonderful stories with Theresa, and she was just as amazed as I was. She always hoped that everyone in Casdell, in all the lands would have the chance to experience such a life. She did her best to see it come true. We can't let things slide back, Doctor. There may come a day that Rhodes Island will be able to see this beautiful flourish across the land.
So, what next?
Deep dive.
The intact data stored within DWDB-221E is decoded by the Singularity and exported in a moderate and suitable format as information. However, Amiya on her own will not be able to break through the limits of the baseline logic. Am I a special case then?
I'm not certain, but the possibility is there. But how are we supposed to get close to the information once it's exported? Forgive me, Amiya, but I have no further information on this topic. I will search through the clues Calcit left behind and sort anything that may be of use to you so that it is easier to find.
Perhaps we could build a bridge?
A bridge!
A bridge to the Singularity, to knowledge. Hasn't Calcit already pointed the way for us?
Has anyone done something like that before? There is no precedent in the records. It's worth a try either way.
Then you must be aware of the risks. The closer you get to the Singularity, the denser the information will become. You may possibly experience it gaining mass.
Information with mass!
It is possible, here yes. It is also possible that information not yet fully decoded will float into your mind and destroy it. And a destroyed mind means death. The voice from within in an unknown language.
Don't mind me, traveler. I'm simply watching yet another bout of destruction is all. Hierda. That's your name, right?
Did you just say my name? I don't know whatever language you're speaking in at all. Also, how do you know?
As the Countess passes by the porthole, she sees the figure out in the darkness of space slowly approaching the ship, then disappear from her sights.
Who is that Ray Distorter?
Ray Distorter lets out a fervent singing tone.
Is something wrong?
There's not many of us who like her. Sorry, traveler, I simply can't handle being in the same room as her. If my friends saw this, they'd give me a cold shoulder because of it too.
When the bewildered Countess snaps out of it, she finds herself the only person in the cabin. Upon foreseeing the arrival of an unwelcome soul, everyone else had made themselves scarce. Then the Countess sees her.
No need to look so amazed. I learned how to communicate using long-distance resonance a while ago. At the very least, before destroying that old race, I kept the unique language patterns they had evolved.
Destroyed?
Do you detest destruction as well, our newly come guest?
I am not too sure what happened, to be honest.
It's nothing too complicated. My people want 8 stars to live. Others may hate us for it, but it's simply our survival instinct at work. But now, that past only exists in horror stories passed around the metaphorical campfire. My people are on the brink of extinction. I fear I may be the last of my kind, in fact. We destroy to live, but when true destruction finally bears down upon us, we are powerless in the face of it. From that point onward, I have become nothing more than a beggar. With the aid of some geniuses, I have changed the method I use to obtain the energy I need to live.
It sounds like you've been trying to blend in with other life forms too. So when you were out in space looking at that planet, were you reminiscing about the destruction you experienced?
Reminiscing? Nothing of the sort. Everyone here has accepted the ruination chasing us with serenity and hope in their hearts.
The goddess has never thought that oncoming doom, especially one pressing down on their neck, could be something to be accepted calmly.
I could never be so indifferent if I had to live through everyone and everything I love being destroyed. I don't understand how you...
It's not indifference, but instead a belief in the absolute equality of the universe. It's a shame you arrived just a little bit late. This ship had just encountered a star going supernova several thousand light years away, and made a smooth withdrawal. If you see that sight with your own eyes, Perhaps you will understand my meaning.
The instruments in the hall begin to spin rapidly until they are moving too fast for the cultist to see with the naked eye. Then she sees a multitude of lights and shadows appear and float through the air.
I see a giant sphere emitting a deep, dark red light, and a small indigo dot speeding across its surface. But, it seems like it's the big sphere rotating around the blue dot.
The one you call the blue dot is the pulsar, the just when supernova I mentioned. The red star, which is gradually being torn apart, is its partner, now doomed to die as well. They once harbored many interesting primitive life forms. I have many fond memories of wandering through the planets of that star system. It's a pity they were snuffed out before they could see the world beyond the sky.
Why are you showing this to me?
Simply sharing the knowledge we have with you, traveler. One-sided paranoia and ignorance are often barriers to effective information transfer. I have no knowledge of your history either.
The cultist has barely had the time to comprehend these words before suddenly her newly acquired knowledge begins to assault her mind.
The land may see life be born twice. These stars fallen from the sky can harbor new life on their own. Ruination's end is not despair. We're not special when it comes to the land.
A celestial body that can sustain life loves all that life upon it equally, no matter where they hail from. This is a law of nature. Don't be too greedy in lapping up that knowledge you can't fully understand yet.
I saw you among all that information. You once had many of your people by your side, but suddenly... The presence. That's what a lot of people call you, right?
I am just a wandering presence, true. Like I said, when true destruction bore down on me and my fellows, I was powerless.
What exactly is this destruction you keep talking about? I've seen plenty of things here I can only describe as divine acts. What could possibly threaten people like you?
I'm afraid that nobody on the ship can answer your question, traveler. In your eyes, we possess knowledge that many life forms in this universe would consider divine acts. But in this boundless cosmos, even we have limits to what we can explore and investigate. Are you disappointed?
So there's definitely no eternal kingdom? A paradise where everyone can experience endless joy and happiness?
Would you like such a place to exist?
The cultist hesitates for a moment before nodding.
Nothing lives forever. Looking back through the history I know, I have come across legendary civilizations that have conquered countless star systems, spreading across the cosmos for millions of years. But as far as the universe cares, what they left behind was, in the end, utterly insignificant. We once blindly chased after non-existent principles and ideals. In the midst of that golden age beyond recollection, we believed our existence to have a sure purpose. But in the end, any life form born with intelligence insists on declaring itself the center of its world. But whether or not it is right, in the universe's eyes, from start to finish, we are nothing. This is the first thing you must learn before you can understand it. Remember that brilliant supernova you just saw? From that tomb, life will be born anew, and there will come a day when those beings will understand what we have carved on our grave. That we once had lives of our own, that we existed.
I don't understand anything that you're saying. How were we born on this land? Was there an even more glorious civilization here before us? Are we going to be wiped out in the foreseeable future? But what I really want to know is, all this pain and suffering that the Reginium brings with it, can it be eliminated? I beg you, show me the way to the answers I seek.
I can't answer any of your questions. Your first three have been asked in a myriad of languages in a myriad of ways across the universe. Only you can answer them yourself. As for your final question, I'm terribly sorry, but I've never heard of this Originium, and I can't find anything related to it in our databases. However, I do know someone rather interesting who also happens to be the master of this ship. Perhaps she will be able to solve your riddle.
The master of the ship?
She's a linguist of wide renown. Her name is...
Priestess.
No time to be lost in your thoughts, Doctor. Grab onto me!
Did you see that, Amiya?
I can't break my focus right now. Weaving together a way to the Singularity is incredibly difficult. Even if Theresis were here to help. Did you see something, Doctor?
You see a familiar figure.
Go, Doctor. Go solve your conundrums.
Keep focusing, Amiya. Stick to the plan and keep building that bridge.
I will. I'm doing everything I can right now to stabilize the connection points, Doctor. Theresa has marked all the records Dr. Tsit searched through earlier. I'm trying to link them all together. But I still need an anchor point, one that can guide me back.
I will keep watch here and serve as your anchor. Press onwards, Amiya. Pink silken threads begin to gather. The meandering threads interweave and spiral, gradually spreading out from the boundary into the distance. Beyond its walls, the path to the Singularity slowly takes shape.
It's working! Originium arts don't seem to work here, but applying the logic behind casting them to the information here does.
Can you build a bridge using completely unknown information?
No, this place is full of information I can't analyze. Not even with the help of Civilite Eterna. I wouldn't have been able to make this way forward alone. But thankfully Dr. Tsit's access left records, and with Theresa's help, I can grasp onto the research data. That's more than enough for me.
The pink threads continue to slowly spiral, linking together the many pieces of complex data that Tsit left her mark on. String by interwoven string, the path forward gradually forms.
I can tell how you're feeling, Tsit. By analyzing the emotional matrix I constructed of you without your permission, I see your tenseness isn't only because of my sharing an appearance with Theresa. You have something even more heavier on your mind.
I will try to adjust. I don't want my personal emotional changes to interfere with the objectivity of those who come after me when they quarry these records.
Yet they are still changing, Tsit. Are you afraid? It's not the most efficient way to build a bridge, but it should hold. I'm going to try to get closer to the Singularity.
I'll go with you. Yes, I'm afraid. I'm afraid Amiya and the doctor won't be able to find the information I leave behind. And I'm afraid that if the situation worsens to the point they are forced to take such extreme measures, the trail I cleared for them would no longer be of use. Or that I might mistakenly lead these seekers of knowledge towards a threat I dare not speak of.
No, Doctor, I won't let you. Not before I check its conditions myself.
Amiya!
Sorry, I know I'm being stubborn about it, but this is my decision.
The bridge, formed from countless threads of intertwined information, stretches out into the distance to touch upon the Singularity. Without the slightest hesitation, Amiya steps onto it, her first step outside the walls of the boundary. A surge.
This feeling, it's like the information has formed some sort of great wave, but why?
This is only the beginning, I'm afraid. The closer you get to the Singularity, the denser the information will become.
It really is like Theresa said. The information here has mass. We'll most likely find greater resistance the deeper we go.
Come back for now, Amiya. We need to come up with a better plan.
I can't maintain the stability of the bridge this week. Going this deep has taken a greater toll than I expected. I need to keep going forward, as long as I follow Dr. Katzit's beacons.
The silver mountains the Tikas had entered flit by her. The black shadow cast by the Fairmoon plunging into Icefield vanishes momentarily. She sees more scenes fly past her, as if she were fighting the current of the river of time. More and more incomprehensible, indescribable sights assail her mind. She does her best to block out the unending, chaotic stream of information.
Concentrate, Amiya, concentrate. Just keep focusing on Dr. Katzit's beacons. Press onwards. I just need to touch the Singularity.
Silence. Amiya cannot even hear her own breathing.
What is this place? The giant sphere is disintegrating?
Looking at the shattered sphere makes her feel dizzy, but it is the bizarrely shaped ship floating in the air that causes an even greater bout of lightheadedness.
What is going on? Why am I seeing...
As she is trapped in her spell of dizziness, a rotating boulder slowly but inexorably hurls toward her. Its black shadow quickly fills Amiya's vision. She subconsciously tries to defend herself, but it is immediately followed by the feeling of free fall. Did she fail? Was it a surge of information? Amiya!
Doctor?
I'm here. Amiya senses a hand supporting her, keeping her thoughts steady by bracing her. Try to block out the interfering information. I've got you. Hopefully I'm not too late. Sorry I couldn't sit back and do as I was told.
Doctor, thank goodness. That moment just now.
You do your best to support her shaking body as the information wave surging from the Singularity continues its assault. The information so dense it has nearly taken true shape washes over your thoughts, leaving behind jumbled afterimages in the void. It is the past long gone, the present being recorded en masse, and what seems to be the future foreseeing your next steps. It's a shame that right now you do not have the energy to spare to pay it any heed. The two of you have already made the long trek from the boundary to this point without even noticing, and now the Singularity is right in front of you.
Did you see the terrifying scene earlier, Doctor?
I did. I don't know what it means though.
I'm certain it's not something that took place on Terra.
But at least it means we're getting closer to the Singularity. Even more information will show itself to us. Can you still keep going, Amiya?
Yes, I can.
You are well aware of the situation you are in right now. Despite knowing it will have minimal effect, you still subconsciously stretch out your arm to try and shield Amiya. The attacks here are focused on our thoughts. I can handle it. I'll be the vanguard. I've got a lead on what we're here for. I've run the cogs on Katzit's access records. You can read the key points from my mind.
Found them. Using Slumber Bridge as a filter, Dr. Katzit conducted a total of 79,346 searches. Although all the searches are related to Originium, according to your speculation, this data is not strongly related to its actual essential nature. If the results are restricted and give us nothing, doesn't the trail run cold here?
No. Katzit retrieved the same entry over and over again. This is, in itself, some information for us.
A repeated retrieval? Wait, can the infinitely looping code made from the repeat quarry count be deciphered too? You already know the answer, Doctor.
Yes, it's a familiar name. Perhaps it's a sign? Perhaps it's a warning.
I've never heard of this name. Neither you and Dr. Katzit have ever said it before. Priestess? Doctor, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
I'm afraid so. Priestess. You have never seen this scene before, much less seen... Priestess speaking in an unknown language.
You're here, Jacob.
Is that... me? Oracle responding back in an unknown language. It took some time to refine your design for PRTS. I thought you had gone to take a rest.
No, I've been thinking about your words this whole time. There is no language that can describe God, as the existence of God itself cannot be understood.
You know that was just mindless chatter.
Suppose I take it as an axiom. With it as my starting point, would creating a language that can describe God mean we have the means to understand it? Does the prospect not excite you? Perhaps, in the pursuit of the answer to this question, we have been going down the wrong path, trying to understand the nature of the universe with its own laws.
You want to use a language wholly created by us to interpret the universe? A far too audacious idea, Priestess.
Is it?
Without any further hesitation, she traces out a perfect rhombus in the air.
Let's begin, shall we? What are they discussing, Doctor?
You have seen this woman before in the assimilated universe. She once accompanied you.
But I have faith, Jacob, that when you are truly confused by everything, you will remember the answers you seek were here all along. I will be here.
I'm afraid they're discussing Originium. Alright, so I have already recorded the outro for this episode, but then I remembered that I forgot to mention something, and no, it's not about the song that is in the outro, but I forgot to mention something important about this cutscene, so I'm gonna do this right now, because just like before with the cutscene earlier with Tsit, where you could select multiple options and get different answers depending on those options, here was also a very important one, where with Amiya you could choose between I do, I don't, essentially, on the question of would you long for that life? And I selected in the clip I don't, which I'm gonna give you my answer as to why I selected that in a second, but I also will show you in a moment what happens if you select I do. So now, why did I select I don't? I went with I don't because I was selecting from the perspective of this doctor. This doctor doesn't, outside of learning about the old civilization through, you know, observation, just like we do, the readers essentially of the story, and pretty much everybody else in the world of Arknights kind of just learns by observing from and getting information delivered from pretty much the same means, either through words or through seeing something, but we don't know what was happening with that civilization. We don't know their ups and downs, and if everything was as squeaky clean and happy as it seemed, or, well, we do know that a lot of stuff went to shit. We do know about that, and a lot of stuff was being prepared for some kind of cataclysmic event, and you know, then there is also Originium. But we don't know how they lived and stuff, and even if in normal times they had just normal, happy lives. So from the perspective of this doctor who doesn't have those memories of that past and knowledge, this doctor, especially as it seems that this doctor is very rooted at this point in the world of Terra, they would probably go with I don't. And they even give the answer immediately right after Azamiya is questioning them about why wouldn't you choose this happy life that seems to be like all the technology, all the stuff that exists in that past. well, the doctor pretty much immediately gives the whole answer of, immediately there as in, well, we don't know. We don't know what was happening. All life has two sides. Every coin has two sides to it. So, you know, could have been that there was also a lot of shit happening there. And we kind of do know that a lot of shit was happening towards the end, but, you know, that was my reasoning behind it. So I'm gonna show you guys right now what happens if you select I do. Alright, and to showcase what happens if you choose I do after Amiya's question of do you long for this kind of life, doctor, she answers with, I'm not surprised, I'm very much the same. When I first thought of such wonders, I long for it too. It's the kind of life I could never truly have for myself. I couldn't help myself from sharing them with Theresa, and the two of us would add many wondrous details of our own imagining, until it changed beyond recognition, flying even further out of reach. But now that I've had a glimpse with my own eyes, I don't think I'm that far away from your past life. Do you believe that one day this great land will be just as beautiful, Doctor? Then you get to choose I believe that they will come, or perhaps it will be even more beautiful, which is what I selected here. I presume the other two are giving the same answer, I haven't checked yet, but the answer you get after that is, it will, and will be there to greet it. Rhode Island will be there to see the light of dawn. And then it continues normally. That was a bunch of loaded cutscenes. First off, Mysterious Elf. I am not sorry about that voice whatsoever. You cannot make me. I find it very appropriate. Anyway, maybe not, maybe yes, I don't know. It's funny. To me, it's just funny. But yeah, that is an entity, alright. It eats worlds to survive, or rather its entire species ate planets to survive, and now it's potentially the last guy? Huh. They didn't name him specifically. Well, specifically, I mean by... They named him something else, but I presume that's an observer? I'm guessing. I mean, I'm guessing by the eye shape. What else could the guy be, right? And then an observer. Considering the naming of observers, right? You would think eyes watching stuff, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it is or isn't, or if it's just another species. Apparently, the rest of them have died out. Somehow? Some way? What the hell happened? But, yeah. Very interesting thing there. I guess everybody is at this point gonna be meeting up with Priestess. Then we have also Amiya and the dog diving into Civilite Eterna and its databanks landing at a singularity point for all knowledge, which is a crazy concept. For people who don't know what a singularity is in the meaning of a civilization, I would highly suggest to properly look that up, because that one is kind of both easy and hard to explain. But it is just the congregation of all knowledge and technology in one space and the leap into the next point of evolution. The best example I could give is, according to the ye old good Kardashev scale of civilizations that was proposed essentially just as a proposition, not as a hard given fact, but according to that scale, and I've brought that up in the past in some other voiceovers here on this channel, according to the Kardashev scale, humanity is still at 0. We are still at 0, while the civilization that the Doctor was part of, going by everything that we know so far from the information that we have, is at minimum a stage 3. And to explain the stages separately, a stage 1 civilization would be a civilization that is capable to harness the entire energy output and to use to store and use the entire energy output of their homeworld. So, for example, if we could actually maximize the output of planet Earth and its energy production, store it and use it, and accumulate more knowledge that way, we would technically be a stage 1 civilization. A stage 2, extends that knowledge all the way throughout their own solar system, and yes, that includes actually also harnessing power from the sun directly, aka something like a Dyson sphere or something of that scale around it. And a stage 3 is that, but extended to the scale of the galaxy you're living in. For us, it would be the Milky Way galaxy. Imagine the reach of that. But yeah, the civilization of the dog seems to be somewhere on that scale of a stage 3 at least, which is nuts in itself, because again, we are not even 1. I don't even think we are close to stage 1. Again, it is not a hard-coded scale for anything, but it is still a scale that exists, and it's kind of fun to compare on that one. But yeah, the elf is there, very interesting, and once again, Singularity stuff, we dove into it, it looked dope. Doc doing cool shit. I love the quote of the Doc, I am gonna be your vanguard. That is kind of funny. And now, and at one of the future April Fool's events, they really need to make a joke character of the Doc as a vanguard character and just let you deploy him. That would be so fun. just to make the joke. I would laugh my ass off. Please make that happen, Hypergriff, please. That is kinda, you wrote the joke into existence right now with this chapter. But yeah, huge shit is happening. And while diving into the Singularity, it's also very interesting that Amiya saw the ship and the planet, which kinda makes it suggest like that is, as I was speculating in the previous part, because again, it wasn't clarified where this whole thing is taking place. Is it in the simulated universe? Is it somewhere else in space actually? It seems to be actually taking place somewhere in space, which very weirdly means that Hierda is somewhere out there, somewhere far away, I guess, which is even weirder. And I'm hoping this chapter is gonna give an explanation down the line. Again, don't say anything, but I hope the chapter is gonna give some kind of explanation about why and how she got there at the end. Because again, her body seems to be clean of oripathy as well on top of it. And again, very interesting. No one in space apparently knows about originium and oripathy, and it seems to be just some localized thing on Terra. And again, the last cutscene of this whole thing being a literal callback to a picture we saw all the way back in Vigilo. In the final story of Vigilo, in the final story card, we did see this image of Priestess and Doc on the deck of Rhodes Island talking to each other, but we didn't have any context, no voiceover, like characters actually chatting between each other. We just had an image. But the interesting part about it was the number with the picture that came back then with it. And if I remember correctly, it was the very first image number-wise that was taken on the landship of Rhodes Island. Very nuts indeed. And now we have more context about what was discussed during that moment. Now, the Doc and Amiya don't seem to recognize, well, the Doc seems to recognize what is being talked about. Amiya seems to not comprehend the language, of course, which makes sense. And the Doc, obviously knowing the language, makes sense. Again, we already saw the Doc realize the language in previous stories. But yeah, very interesting. It leaves me with the impression here at the end that Originium came into existence purely because Priestess might have a god complex or an interest to see how it would be to feel as a god, to create a universe. I don't know, that is the interpretation it left me here at this point, and we're gonna leave it at that, because that is quite the reach, Priestess, if that is your fascination. Like, how to understand how a god is? Well, simple, let's become one. What? Excuse me? Priestess? I think we need to put you into therapy. Straight jacket and a nice big giant white room with with just bolster with pillows so you don't hurt yourself, you know. Can we put her into a psych ward? Holy hell. I guess we'll see what that is, if that is the truth or not, as the chapter is gonna progress, because boy oh boy, that is an implication, alright. But anyway, I promised you guys one thing at the beginning of this, and that is that I'm gonna reveal what the song is in the outro. So, again, at the beginning, I played a clip of Ray Distorter playing that little diddly that I barely managed to squeeze in there, but let me show you now what the actual clip is. Enjoy the reveal. So, I hope you guys actually were trying to guess at the beginning this time around, because look, the thing I managed to squeeze out of the voice modulator for that is literally that. I had to go, I think I was for 20 whole minutes experimenting, maybe even longer, how to hum during the whole thing, and the voice modulator not producing gurgle sounds, because it does change my voice drastically, and because any noise it's picking up from the mic, it's kind of like forced trying to make some understandable sound out of it, which is just gurgledy-gurg at the end of the day. So yeah, it's stainless. I thought to myself, when the drone appeared, I had a flash through my brain. I was thinking just like, he's humming something. Do I want him to hum something? And I was thinking like, what could be a song that has very recognizable either melody or like the melody of the text at least, or something like that. What could be hummed in here, but could also be funny to do so? And you know what? Status the song kind of fit. Look, I found it funny. I'm allowed to laugh at my own stupid joke. Anyway, that was the funny bit, and I'm gonna be looking forward to seeing how many of you actually guessed it correctly or incorrectly, or yeah. Me and my brain sometimes. Anyway, this will be it for this part. The rest of this episode is gonna be the clips from me reacting to stuff and discussing some stuff as I was going through the cutscenes here. So yeah, all I can say is thank you very much for watching and listening. Hope you enjoyed. If you did so, please consider leaving a like, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing for more, of course. And if you want to support me more directly, memberships are open on the channel, and as I always say, no video will be behind a membership. It's purely there for support. So thank you very, very much to all the members already doing so. Much appreciated. And yeah, I hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are, and I will see you in the next part. Hopefully it's gonna go actually faster this time, cause who knows, maybe something else is gonna wear its head out of some kind of ditch somewhere. But anyway, thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, bye-bye. Oh shit. Oh shit. Well, she has new drip. Every main story arc she has to get a new drip, huh? Well, Act 2 she got a new one. Yeah, and now another new one. Okay. Okay. That character from the preview, that is definitely you then. I know the speculations were very high on it being Closure, but that is definitely her then with this new outfit. Alright. Take a look at the expression doodle on my faceplate. It indicates how I feel. It does. He's permanoid. Oh shit, it actually changed. Oh, never mind. Oh, he can actually change on the spot. That's kind of neat.
blocked you? No, I just disconnected you from PRTS.
Oh.
To be more precise, I physically removed your reception module.
Okay.
It looks like that went well enough. I thought there would be some irreparable failures.
Okay.
Mr. Friston, please do one more self-check and to be certain you're not getting any transmissions from PRTS.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay. That is way too obvious at this point. That would be no different than killing all my precious colleagues.
What if we had no other choice?
Oh, yeah. Okay, you guys are way too on the nose. This is way too direct right now. Okay, PRTS, huh?
Suggestions? I've named it
Zoot? Oh, wait, what was the old text game called again? Was it Zorg? Oh, never mind, it's Zork with a K at the end. Okay. Good God.
I stopped in Syracuse to resupply before returning to the ship, where I visited Vigil and Penance in Nuovo Bolsini.
Ah, well, this is okay. Yeah. Those stories are obviously taking place before this. All right. Abyss, huh? That word is coming back. Ooh. Quick grab screenshot before it zooms in too much. All right, Abyss, huh? Interesting. Also, the angle. I know the doc is sitting down there probably, but yeah, there's a chair. But the angle of the doc sitting down just makes it look like the top half of the torso is cut off. What the hell? All right. Oh yeah, man, this thing in the middle is so distorted. So basically, I'm guessing if you're like printing out blueprints or looking at blueprints of the land ship, there is a huge area of the ship that is just censored out.
Ascalon and the elite operators will stay on board on standby. I need all other personnel on board to temporarily leave the ship and prepare for countermeasures.
Man, she is scared of what is gonna happen if that area gets poked. I mean, I'm just gonna go by what is so far known about Priestess's personality and how infatuated she is by the doc. I would not be surprised if in a deeper layer of the first sarcophagus where the doc was embedded essentially in their personal chamber, if there is not a second chamber deeper in, like a hidden compartment, or a second, just a second sarcophagus attached to the first one, where Priestess is just slumbering inside. I would absolutely not be surprised by that fact. That would be so on point with her character, as much as it's known so far.
After withdrawing from Londinium, our operations in Tree Mounts and Miliarium inevitably forced us to confront the history of this land and your history.
Oh no, never mind. Tree Mounts, so what's the name? Lone Trail already happened, and Miliarium is the third story of the Abyssal Hunters is taking place in. The city of the Aegir, essentially. One of the cities of the Aegir. So, the doc has already been to Tree Mounts, the sky has already been split open, and Miliarium just suggests that also the whole Abyssal Hunter story up until the last one, what was it called again? Path of Life? Path of Life has also happened already. Okay. So earlier when she was talking about going to negotiate with the Inquisition and the Aegir, that was just like going back there to negotiate. Okay.
but I do have a way to circumvent its limits, tsit. Deep dive.
Oh, where? Hi, we're back here now? Oh, this is a transition to the same words? Uh-huh. Oh, symbols? Interesting symbols? Oh, is that the symbol for death? Yet somehow she understands what these strange tones mean. That is very, very interesting. I wonder if this segment of the story is inspired by the movie Arrival. Because in that movie, the aliens that arrive on Earth are essentially teaching the Earthlings a universal language that is spoken across the universe and is a higher form of communication. And the moment people start actually using it rather or understanding it, they unlock like a higher function of, I guess you could call it a higher brain function essentially, or something like that. The movie is great, by the way. A ship that salvages death from the grave. Name it. Name this son of a bitch. Name it. Ooh. Look, if she is in the assimilated universe right now or some shit like that, and is just experiencing like, I don't know, in a weird way, like a very, very detailed past or something, like a simulated version of the past or some shit like that, or a recreation of the past, just so someone can teach her and study her or so, whatever. Again, I'm presuming the priestess brought her in and is just doing shit in the background. If they drop the name Rhode Island now, I am gonna scream. I have been saying that probably at its original inception, the land ship was probably a spaceship for probably 4 years now, maybe even longer. A ship that salvages death from the grave. We seek answers to the ultimate questions among the ruins illuminated by light, before the same destruction befalls us. Before death befalls us. The place you have visited, its master calls it... Say it, bitch. Rhode Island, yes! Motherfucker! Vindication! Sorry. Okay, obviously not full confirmation if this is the same Rhode Island, but... Come on! Come on! You cannot fool me anymore! No one can tell me that a fucking landship was not a spaceship at some point. No one. Especially with the fucking tech that they had available. They could probably transform a goddamn pen into a goddamn lightsaber if they want in the press of a button. The Katos is confused. She's no longer confused by the strangeness of her surroundings. She's perplexed by a different question. How can a god die? Because they're not a god. These are not actual gods. And even if actual gods would exist, they could probably be killed. Let's be real. Fuck. Oh wow, they're not even hiding it anymore. The stupid eye in the background. The stupid eye in the background is something else. Alright. Oh.
I'm getting strange commands from the terminal's combat interface. Same here. What does this strange symbol mean?
Uh-huh. PRTS process reset. Threat detected. Identifying target. Identification complete. Begin combat deployment. Prepare to eliminate threat. Oh, the hand! I thought the hand was the typical thing of showing you press this place. No, this is PRTS. Wow. Oh wow, that is so meta. That is so meta right now. We just went through some meta bullshit in IS5. This is so meta right now. Seeing a hand deploying units onto the field. Okay. Okay, we are actually playing chess against Priestess right now. That is sick.
But we can stop it by deploying our own operators at those occasions in advance like this.
Oh, you can block. That's actually neat. the little fist clench. That's fucking funny as hell. Oh hey, Mechanist. Damn, son. The bone pan taps lightly, its strokes weaving together the rough outline of a human form. Hey! Nice, they're actually including her. Oh, actually in full form, okay. Not just the hazy image.
Popcar, have you called for reinforcements?
Damn, Popcar, main story? Damn, the entire squad is apparently here. Holy shit. And Mantra. Damn. Damn, really bringing in everybody. Holy shit. Oh, this. They're bringing these now in as well. Okay. Rhodes Island engineering operator. Actually, they introduced a lot of these newly modeled characters in operator records, like Rhodes Island personnel, from just regular grunts to stuff like engineering squad here. I can't remember if this design showed up in operator records, but there was like, over the last like year and a half, there was at least like 4 different random background operator designs that were literally sneaked into the game through operator records. I can't remember if this is one of them. It looks very familiar. Oh wow. Oh. Oh. I'm walking in us music.
If the one I least want to see stands in front of us once more.
Oh yeah, she does not like Priestess. Oh yeah, she does not like Priestess. Ooh. I do want to know more about why specifically she hates her outside of the stuff we could glimpse so far of her, of Priestess, because she has an innate fear of her. Something had to happen at some point in the past, because Priestess was involved, just like the Doc, in the creation of the original Tsit back then. So whatever fear she instilled in Tsit is still there for over 10,000 years. This is a callback. This is a freaking callback.
It looks like there's other memories too. Why are they so blurred?
Oh, it overlapped. Oh god. Oh god, it's getting spooky now. I can sense yours too.
You sure are relaxed right now.
I've got nothing to worry about with Yora. You sure I'll relax right now? I can peer into your deepest, dankest memories. What did you look on the internet last night at? Uh-oh. Don't look at that, Amia. Don't look at that, Amia. Don't look.
Follow me, Amia. Follow me too.
Whoa. That is a circular, ring-shaped space station. Civilization Singularity. Oh, that is a powerful sentence to have. Or name. Singularity by itself is a freaking monster of a word.
Do you long for this kind of life, Doctor?
Ooh, oh, a choice. I do, I don't? Huh. I don't know what to say to this one. Do I long for it? I don't think this new doctor would. The old one would probably say yes. But the new one is kind of tied more to the land of Terra, the planet Terra essentially, and to the people there. So I will say no. Radio Storer sends out a fervent melodical signal.
Is something wrong?
There's not many of us who like her. Even they. Okay, if that is indeed Priestess right now approaching, I love it that even the. Okay, this is funny. If that is really Priestess, that is very funny. There's not many of us who like her. Even the machines are just being like, no, 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 keep her away, keep the yandere away, nope, nope, nope. Oh, that is funny. That is so funny. Sorry, traveler, I simply can't handle being in the same room as her. Wow! Wow! Holy shit! Is it really Priestess? If my friends saw this, they'd give me the cold shoulder because of it too. Wow! Wow! Holy shit! Okay, I really want to know now, is this Priestess? Please show her. When the bewildered Kautos snaps out of it, she finds herself the only person in the cabin. Upon foreseeing the arrival of an unwelcome soul, everyone else had made themselves scarce. Oh, never mind, what the fuck are you? Oh, that is not Priestess, never mind, what the fuck are you? I'm not gonna lie, the bottom portion of this thing reminds me of Voyager from Reverse, the blue legs. But the fuck is the top part? What the shit is this thing? Then the Kautos sees it's identified as a her. Okay, but what are you? I like that it's borrowing just a spacesuit and it's a hovering eye. Is that an observer? Is that how they look like? I mean, the eye shape would make sense, right? But the rest of the body is probably just like being a dingus and mimicking a person, I guess. It also has like bunny ears. What the fuck? What the? What are these motions? Huh? This thing is very ganky. Oh, the black and white retina in the eye swap places right now as well. What the fuck? Mysterious elf? Elf. What? Huh? I will need a lot of explanations right now.
My people are on the brink of extinction. I fear I may...
Really?
I fear I may be the last of my kind, in fact.
Damn! Wait. Actually, you know what? That would actually explain why over the last 10,000 years the universe hasn't been really wiped out by them then, I guess. The fuck happened?
Huh?
Don't worry, Bunny, I'm confused as you are. Alright, moment of truth. What the shit? What the shit did I just witness?
However, I do know someone rather interesting who also happens to be the master of the ship. Perhaps she will be able to solve your riddle.
Okay, she is here. She is here, huh?
The master of the ship? She's a linguist of...
Oh, yep, that... Yep. Oh, her name is... Are they gonna call her Priestess, or... Are they gonna call her by an actual name? Because those names are more like... like operator code names, honestly. Oracle, Priestess. Unless they really call themselves by those names. That would be kind of funny. But I kind of also feel that those names were always just like operator code names for them.
She's a linguist of wide renown. Her name is...
And it cuts away. You son of a bitch. Oh no, never mind. I spoke too soon. Okay, priestess. Oh wow. Ooh, animated. Ooh. Ooh, actually the middle is animated. Oh, hi. That is the thing that was in preview number 4 as well. Or has to be, right? The thing above the barrier, above the planet. A ring station. Alright. The meandering threads interweave and spark. Actually, just to also be completely fair, there was a thing above a planet in preview 4, but was it above Terra? Was it above another planet? Also, they are diving into Civilite Eterna here, so they could be essentially anywhere right now.
I just need to touch the Singularity.
Oh boy. Uh-huh. Oh, and we flash to here now? Uh-huh. Amiya senses a hand. Oh, this melody. Amiya senses a hand supporting her, keeping her thoughts steady by bracing her. Try to block out the interfering information. I've got you. Oh, damn. That is sick. Uh-huh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, wakey wakey? Eggs and bakey? Please go back to bed. No breakfast for you, go back to bed. Shit.
Doctor, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
I'm afraid so. Oh my god, this image. Holy shit, it's been a while since Vigilo. Holy moly, that was the one image that popped up at the end of Vigilo. Showing Priestess and the dock on board of Rhodes Island. That was numbered as the very first image taken on the land ship. If I remember correctly, I think it had a number literally number 1 in the count. I'm afraid they're discussing Originium. Yeah, that's their own language. Originium is technically their own language that they created to basically recreate the universe, right, with.